If you've ever said that dice are swingy, you're not just wrong, you're a bad person. Hi there, I'm Jonathan Pritchard from Rolling Stag RPG, and this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because I agree and I disagree all at the same time. And when we start talking about math and chances and percentages and that kind of thing, yeah, our brains are not wired for this. And I totally get why it feels like dice are swingy, but they're not actually. Now, let's define what in the world we're talking about. Now, if you were just talking about dice systems on their own, like we're rolling dice, recording what happens, and then comparing notes, then absolutely yes. A 2d6 or similar kind of way of rolling dice is going to tend towards 7. Most of the time, you're going to get that middle, and less of the time, you're going to get those outliers. So you do have that dependable distribution of results. If you're using a D20 or a D100 or any kind of single die, then yes, every number is as likely to come up as any of the others. So there's no distribution curve, it's a flat distribution. Now, to illustrate that, I wanted to show you anydice.com, and I've spent so much time here kind of wrapping my head around how different games play out in terms of their percentages. And that's the trick right there, because if we were talking about just rolling dice, like I mentioned, then yes, this is way more dependable that you're going to get a 7 than you would, say, get a 26 when you're rolling a D100. Okay. But here's the thing, if we are playing a game, your skills, your advantages, they all add up to maybe, say, a 40% chance of success. That means you're probably going to fail. You've got a 60% chance of failure. Okay. A 40% chance rolling 2d6, you still have a 40% chance of success or failure. If you're rolling D100 and your skill is 40, you've got a 40% chance of success. You've got a 60% chance of failure. How you're going to win or like succeed or fail, that's where the difference comes in. Because let's go back to the share here. Okay. So if we want to roll at least a 7, then we've got a 58% chance that we're going to roll a 7 or bet or under here. And then we've only got a 40% chance of an 8. So 41.67. So let's just assume that it's 42%. Okay. So when you roll, zero modifiers, zero benefits, nothing, and you're trying to hit 8 or better, you've got a 42% chance of success. Okay, so most of the time you're going to roll under that and you fail. But you can only have 7 ways that you fail. Most of the time you're going to fail with a 7. Oh, I was so close. And then you're going to miss on 6 less often. You're going to miss with a 5 less often than that. And you're going to miss on a 2 even like more infrequently. Okay. So the way that you fail is dependable, and you don't have all that many ways that you can because there are only 11 combinations that you're playing with. Is just the number of times you see those combinations. So it gives us a false sense of familiarity with the numbers that make it feel less swingy. Because compared to a D100, when you've got an equal chance of everything, well, if we're looking at 42 right here, we only have 42 ways that we win and then 58 ways that we lose. So there are 58 times where we lose, and it could have been by just a little bit. It could have been really far away, but it's still just a pass fail system based on the percentage chance of success or failure. So the instant that we add in a target that we meet or beat, or roll under or roll over, whatever you want to do in terms of your rule set, the chances are still the same because percentage is percentage. It's number of times out of 100 or out of 1,000, however many times you want to run the experiment. Both systems are operating with the same percentage. You're getting to that percentage in a different way. You play with the percentage in a different way with +1 because in a 2d6 system here, your +1 is going to take you from 58. Actually, let's do it backwards that way. All right. So from 7, you're at 58 and then 72. So that would be 2, 6, 12. So that's 14. And then 8 to 9 is a smaller benefit. So your +1 advantage is actually a different percentage point. Whereas here, +1% is 1%, like just very straight, even when you're talking about the modifiers. So the modifiers are different. How you get to your target is different, but the pass or fail percentage stays the same. Once that's nailed down, you roll those dice, you're 42% likely to win, you're 58 or whatever that is percent likely to not succeed. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's no difference. So that's why it's not right. It's not right when you're talking about rolling dice to see if you pass or fail. No system is more swingy than the other because it's not like the percentages change once you're talking about that percentage. Now, are you talking about the way that the percentages play out and the way that modifiers affect your percent chance of success? That's a completely different claim than I don't like this die because it's swingy. Okay. So that's why I wanted to make this just to share my thoughts about the instant that we introduce the percentage chance of success or failure. Doesn't matter what die system you use, step, ladders, 2d6, d100, d20, it's all the same thing. It's all just percentages. Break it down to the percentages and then you're either pass or fail. Like that's it. Now, if you're talking about the distribution of graduated success, well, okay, you could still say it's the same thing because whatever your whatever your percent chance of, okay, 6 or below is a failure, a 7 to 9 is a mixed success, and then 10 to 12 is a massive success. Okay, well, you could still just run those numbers of how likely you are to get the failure, how likely are you to get the mixed success, which is probably the bigger portion, and then what are the percent chance of a massive success, and then you just break that down straight into D100. And then you say anything from 1 to 20 is a failure, 21 to 80 is a mixed success, and then 81 to 100 is a massive success. Okay, cool. You just translated that. Oh, it's graduated success and layers. And again, it's all just percentages. and and it's down to the way that you get to those percentages changes, but they're not swingy. It's not swingy. It's all math. It's all base 100. That's it. So, do you agree? Do you vehemently disagree? I would love to hear from you. Sound off in the comments, and I look forward to reading all of them.